across my share of stupid tweets while perusing Twitter over the years, but nothing comes close to this one. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And the producer for Halo, Nick T, going by the PJ Skittles on Twitter, just had one of the dumbest tweets I think I've ever seen. And it was so bad that I thought it was like from a parody account. I'm like, there's no way someone who works in the game industry could say this about the game that they work on with a straight face. But sure enough, it's real. And they actually did tweet it. And it made me question everything about the games industry because of just how out of touch it really was. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for the full article breaking down this ridiculously stupid tweet. This guy, a producer for Halo, talking about how he has trouble separating real life from video games while working on video game weapons, and how he doesn't feel good about it, but can talk himself into it because it's Halo and it's science fiction weapons. So because of that, I guess they're okay. And his pronoun-filled bio says, I honestly don't think I could work on a game that glorifies or fantasizes modern guns. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Rainbow Six. I've had moments I've struggled with Halo, but the weapons and world is pretty sci-fi, which creates a large enough separation from reality. I'm really struggling with this one. I genuinely am. Because when I pick up a video game controller to play a video game, I know what I am playing is a video game. I don't feel like it glorifies the violence of it. I don't think it puts these guns on some prestigious pedestal that makes me want to go out and buy these guns and go do things with them. No, I play them because it's fun. Video games are used as an outlet for creativity and excitement and exploration into worlds that aren't real. Someone working on these games should know that better than someone playing the games. Now, to be fair, this tweet came out on April 29th, 2023, and I didn't see it until yesterday when I first saw it being shared from Madam Savvy, and I was completely flabbergasted. I'm like, there's no way this is real. I commented, if you're not trolling, this is actually the dumbest take I've ever seen on Twitter, to which that, as of recording this, has over 300 likes, compared to the initial post from this guy that was like 15 or so. Like, before it got taken down. And, oh, by the way, no, he didn't delete the tweet. He went into protected mode. Initially, he left the tweet up and then just removed the ability for replying on it. But he was getting quote tweeted so hard for how embarrassing this take was that he had no other choice but to take his entire Twitter account into protected mode, like all these people always do. But this was after he started getting roasted so hard in the replies on this, where I wasn't alone. The entire community took to this as a, how the hell are you working on this game? How feminine are you? Thanks for killing Halo. That's pretty funny. This is not a serious person. Please step down from Halo. Shakes head, checks bio. Pronouns, of course, every time. Every single time. But this gets into a much deeper debate of not just can you separate video games from real life, but people working on these games in the back end, on development of the games, are having these concerns. And it makes me worry about the future of game development with the types of people that are getting jobs at these game companies. These types of people, like, no offense, it strikes me as someone that doesn't even like Halo, that doesn't want to work on this game, that is offended from weapons, yet they're working on a first-person shooter game. And not just any FPS. This is one of the crown jewels of gaming, or at least, at one point, used to be, one of the greatest series ever created in all of gaming. And how the mighty have fallen. And with stuff like this, I guess it just makes sense. When game companies prioritize inclusivity instead of the people that, I don't know, actually care about making the games, we end up with results like this one from Nick T, a producer of Halo that can't separate fact from fiction, from video games to reality, yet they're at the back end working on this game. And it was funny, when I was writing my article on SmashJT.com, I was really impressed with how he didn't delete the tweet and how he didn't take his account into protected mode. While I was writing this, Stephen M. tweeted me and said, "Replies locked. Start the countdown to full profile lockdown. These freaks are mentally ill carbon copies of each other. It's like they're coming off of some horrific assembly line of broken toys to be used as weapons against all that is pure and good." And I said, ugh. And about 13 hours later, Stephen replied, "And there it is. These posts are protected." But this situation, like I said, brings up a much broader discussion about what's going on in the back end of the video game industry right now, and how the types of people that are being hired are not prepared mentally, nor do they have the energy and excitement to want to work on them, where they write things like this, where they're like, "Oh, I could never work on one of those games like Call of Duty because the weapons are too real. But I guess I could find a way to make it make sense in my head that the Halo weapons are okay because they're science fiction and they're not real weapons. So I can go to sleep at night knowing that this is not real." It's like, the other game isn't real either, bro. It's Call of Duty. It's a video game. This reminds me of like a politician that's trying to cancel video games because he feels like the games are real. Like, you can't separate fact from fiction, from reality to a video game. You can't separate the two. Your brain thinks they're one and the same. That's a problem. But it's not my problem, nor is it the vast majority of gamers out there's problem. This is your problem that you need to deal with yourself. This is the type of stuff that concerns me, though, because with people who work in the gaming industry that shouldn't be there start saying stuff like this, and then it gets picked up by a politician or a lawyer, and then they start running with it. They're like, "Oh man, yeah, there's a developer that's saying this about the games. They can't separate reality from a fictional universe, so that means the gamers definitely can't. And if that's the case, then we need more red tape. We need more restrictions. We need more implemented problems to solve to stop these games from being made." And all that does is stifle creativity. It stops the artistic impressions of freedom of what these developers want to have out there in the first place. All because someone got hired at a company that shouldn't be there in the first place. And I know it's just a single tweet, and I'd like to think it's just a one-off. But before this account got taken private, I saw quite a few of other tweets where he was basically spouting the same nonsense about the Star Wars universe and how he was mad at people that were taking issue with the direction that Star Wars was going, and calling bigots, calling people that shouldn't be criticizing it to get out of it because they're not welcome in it. Only people that agree with him should be part of this conversation. And that in itself, like I've said many times before, reminds me of a situation that I'd like to not revisit that we've had historically. But as for now, this guy is just yet another eye roll in the back end of the video game industry that I just can't. Is it the worst thing ever? No! It's like the dumbest thing ever, though. It really is. This is the kind of thing that lends to a worse video game environment down the road. It genuinely does. If your passion is not making the coolest weapons, the coolest gear, the newest creative stuff you can make in a game, if you're so concerned about how this affects you in real life and how it mentally just clashes with you, don't work on that game. Get out of the industry. Go work somewhere else. The problem is we have game companies like Microsoft enabling this type of behavior for being inclusive, while this type of person wouldn't be able to find a job anywhere else because they're not inclusive in the real world, because no one would hire this kind of mentality. It is unhinged. It is not logical. It is a broken mentality. Anyways, those are my feelings on a guy that works on Halo. And man, honestly, the way the series has been going downhill for the past, I don't know, decade or so, and the delays between Halo Infinite and everything else, I guess hearing stuff like this in the back end makes it all make a lot more sense. And honestly, puts a microscope on Microsoft to stop being so inclusive and actually hire based off of people that care about the games that they're going to be making. I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out SmashJT.com for the full article. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
We want to acknowledge that the land where the Microsoft campus is situated was traditionally occupied by the Sammamish, the Duwamish, the Snoqualmie, the Suquamish, the Muckleshoot, the Snohomish, the Tulalip, and other Coast Salish peoples since time immemorial.
Smash,